I'm Nina Campos, Infinium Broadband Manager at Victoria Electric Cooperative. Thank you for joining us today as we will be presenting our annual meeting a little bit differently this year. While we wish that everyone could join us in person, we do understand the concerns and circumstances of the current COVID-19 pandemic. And that's why we are excited to be able to offer our members an alternative to personal attendance. Our hybrid annual meeting allows those who would like to participate in the voting and door prize drawing to do so by drive-through or in a setting suitable to their comfort level. In addition, they can even watch the officer and general manager reports in the following recordings. All right, let's get started. First, I would like to introduce Tammy Boyd, Secretary Treasurer, who will now present the financial statement and operating report for 2020.
Hi, my name is Tammy Boyd and I am VEC's Board Secretary Treasurer. Let's discuss the Treasurer's Report Statement of Operations. VEC has another strong year in 2020. The Statement of Operations provides a high-level overview of the financial operations of the cooperative. To recap, operative revenue increased $3.2 million, while cost of power increased to $2.7 million. Operations, maintenance, and administrative expenses increased $1.4 million, mainly as a result of the reclassification of Infinium expenses from non-operating margins to the respective departmental expenses, which is included in operating margins. The reclassification resulted from the 2020 audit, in which a determination was made that this method of accounting for Infinium is a more accurate reflection of operating expenses and margins and is consistent with the industry practices. Depreciation, taxes, and interest expense increased $211,000. Operating margins decreased by $1 million, while non-operating margins increased by $1.1 million, which is attributed to the reclassification of Infinium expenses. The extraordinary items of $3.2 million in 2019 was a result of VEC's request for reimbursement through FEMA due to Hurricane Harvey, which was approved and funded in 2019. Total margins decreased by $3.8 million, mostly driven by the extraordinary item in 2019. We will review the details of these numbers in the following slides. Allocations of margins. While the Statement of Operation reflects consolidated financial figures for VEC and Infinium, separate accounting records are maintained. As such, patronage capital for electric members is allocated based on revenues in excess of expenses for the electric division on a standalone basis. Patronage capital is allocated to the membership based on the dollar amount of electric service purchased during the year. Operating revenues. In 2020, VEC saw an increase in operating revenues of approximately $3.2 million, primarily due to an increase of 16 million kilowatt-hour sales from 19 to 20. The biggest driver of the increase in kilowatt sales were large commercial and industrial accounts. Also included in operating revenues is $885,000 in internet sales. Power cost as a percentage of revenue. As represented above, 70% of every dollar went directly to the cost of power. This is the basis for why VEC began the Beat the Peak campaign several years ago, as every kilowatt hour reduced during the peak times helps to reduce power costs throughout the year. Expenses excluding power cost. There was an overall increase in expenses excluding power costs from 2019 to 2020 of approximately $1.6 million. The increase in operating expenses is largely due to the reclassification of Infinium labor and operating expenses, as previously mentioned, along with increases in normal operations, including wage adjustments and associated payroll taxes and benefit expenses. Operation expenses increased $282,000. Aside from labor costs, additional drivers were Infinium, permitting, and pole attachments. Administrative expenses increased by $1.1 million. Additional drivers were information technology expenses, consulting service, and COVID-19 safety protocol supplies, along with Infinium marketing and professional services. Depreciation increased $368,000 due to normal additions to distribution and general plant in 2020, along with Phase 1 of the fiber build-out. Property tax increased $35,000 which was expected with the addition of the new connects and infrastructure. Interest expense decreased by $195,000 due to interest payments on CoBank line of credit used for Hurricane Harvey in 2019, which was paid off in 2020. Total assets. Total assets increased from 2019 to 2020 by $11.4 million due to continued growth of the VEC distribution system and system improvements completed through the construction work plan, along with the build-out of the Phase 1 fiber backbone. Total assets at year-end also included increased cash on hand as a result of the loan draw in November of 20 and patronage capital assigned to VEC from South Texas Electric Corp. Long-term debt and total margins and equities. Equity represents the members' investment in the cooperative, your share of the cooperative assets. In 2020, VEC's equity ratio remained stable at 54%. Long-term debt. The blended interest rate on long-term debt for 2020 was 3.51%, compared to the state median at 3.92%. In 2020, we added $7.5 million in long-term debt on the electric construction work plan, which helps to improve the reliability of the distribution system, offset with paying down principal balances on existing debt. An additional $5.6 million in long-term debt was added for Infinium's construction work plan to build out Phase 1 of the fiber backbone. Capital credit retirements. VEC began retiring capital credits in 2009, and to date, a total of $11.8 million has been returned back to the membership. In 2020, VEC retired $735,600 in capital credits, which retired the remaining patronage through 1992 and 40% of 1993. Infinium customer account. At the end of 2020, Infinium had 928 subscribers utilizing its wireless and fiber internet service. This chart represents the cumulative number of customers added per quarter since April of 19. The continued demand for Infinium internet service reinforces the need for fast, reliable, and affordable internet service across our service territory. Infinium, powered by Victoria Electric Cooperative, is dedicated to continuing to improving the quality of life for our members.
Thank you, Ms. Boyd. Next, Mr. Trey Rushop, Vice President, will now present the Officers Report.
Good afternoon, and thank you for attending the 2021 Victoria Electric Cooperative Annual Meeting. I am Trey Rushop, Vice President of the Victoria Electric Cooperative Board of Directors, and I'll be providing the Officers Report this year. While I'm glad to be providing this report to you today, I would rather have had Board President Donald Waymire here to offer these comments. I offer my deepest sympathies to Eugene and the Waymire family on behalf of the Victoria Electric Cooperative Board employees and membership. At this time, I would like to pause for a moment of silence in honor of the late Don Waymire. Thank you. For those of you that may not have had the pleasure to know Don Waymire, he was committed to God, family, and the cooperative. Don served on the VEC Board of Directors for the last 35 years and was a second-generation Victoria Electric Cooperative Board member, as his father, H.C. Waymire, preceded him, serving on the board many years. Don served as the president of the Board of Directors for Victoria Electric Cooperative for the past 13 years, while also serving on the South Texas Electric Cooperative Board of Directors for 16 years and the San Miguel Electric Cooperative Board of Directors for 14 years, where he also served as board president from 2017 until 2020. Don was a leader that always had the membership at heart and used his personal time and skills outside of the boardroom at state and national conferences, as well as other cooperative board meetings, working to ensure that the best decisions within the boardroom were made on the behalf of the entire membership. His leadership will be greatly missed. At this time, I would like to present to the Waymire family a token of appreciation for Don's devoted service and commitment to Victoria Electric Cooperative. The first item is a commemorative electric meter lamp, and the second item is a resolution of appreciation that I will ask General Manager Blaine Warzeka to read.
Now I will be presenting the Resolution of Appreciation for Donald K. Wiemeyer. At a regular meeting of the Board of Directors of Victoria Electric Co-op, held in Victoria County, Texas on September 21, 2021, the following resolution was unanimously adopted. Whereas Donald Wiemeyer began his electric cooperative career as a director of Victoria Electric Co-op in 1986 and was voted into the office of Board President in 2008. Whereas Donald Wiemeyer was elected as the director representing Victoria Electric Co-op on the South Texas Electric Co-op Board of Directors in 2005 and on the San Miguel Electric Co-op Board of Directors in 2007. While serving San Miguel, he held the office of President from 2017 to 2020. Whereas Donald Wiemeyer was a second-generation Victoria Electric Co-op board member as his father H.C. Wiemeyer preceded him in serving on the board, Donald served on the VEC Board of Directors for 35 years and 13 of those as president until his death in 2021. And whereas Donald Wiemeyer maintained a high level of regard for issues and policies involving all rural electrification, Donald contributed many hours to the growth and development of Victoria Electric Co-op and rural electrification through his service and commitment. He was a man of high moral standards and integrity. Now, therefore be it resolved that the Board of Directors of Victoria Electric Co-op expresses its condolences to the Donald Wiemeyer family and expresses its appreciation for his dedication and untiring efforts on behalf of Victoria Electric Co-op. Unanimously passed this 21st day of September 2021.
Once again, I would like to offer my condolences to the family, and I would also like to thank the family for allowing Don to serve, as only those involved in the electric industry truly know it is a family sacrifice. It goes without saying that everyone watching has been impacted and our lives are forever changed by COVID-19. But just when we thought COVID wasn't bad enough, Winter Storm Uri challenged the Texas electric grid, which was felt by every Texan as well. That's why I think this year's annual meeting theme, "We Never Stop," is quite fitting. While the co-op cannot exist without our members, the co-op also cannot exist without the dedicated employees of VEC. And I can assure you, from Hurricane Harvey to Winter Storm Uri, to the lightning storms of the spring and summer, to COVID-19, they never stop working to exceed our members' expectations of reliability, safety, and affordability, whether it be electric service or now internet service as well. If this was not enough, when management presented to the board the thought of a hybrid annual meeting that would provide an opportunity to allow members to participate at their own comfort level, I must say that went above and beyond. It would have been far easier to simply recommend canceling the annual meeting again. It would have been also easier to simply provide a drive-through only meeting. That's not our team style, because we never stop, trying to put our members first. Since I have joined the Board of Directors, I have witnessed firsthand the efforts made to consistently improve upon the service being provided to our membership and the work done to ensure that our electric rates remain as competitive as possible. In case you have not been counting, the last electric rate increase was in 2009. That's 12 years ago. I can't think of anything that has come close to 12 years without price increase. As a result, we are in the middle of a cost of service study to evaluate our rates to determine if they are sufficient moving forward or if an increase is necessary. Our last two studies indicated that we would need an increase in 2021, which is why we are conducting this study and making an evaluation at this time. We will continue to communicate to you through the Texas Cooperative Power magazine, social media, and our Facebook page when the study is finalized and a decision is made. As with any successful organization, we must always look for ways to streamline, challenge our staff to be fiscally responsible, and analyze needs versus wants when it comes to spending. And you should expect the board to act in a similar fashion. For the past several years, the Board of Directors have discussed reducing the number of director seats as we review the annual benchmark comparison offered through National Rural Electric Cooperative Association's annual director survey. The results of this survey have provided that the number of board members for distribution cooperatives across the nation range from 5 to 15, with the most common number of director seats being 9. However, in Region 10, which includes Texas, New Mexico, and Arizona, The average size of boards is 8 directors. As a result of this information and the fact that we have 2 board members that have elected to retire in 2021, the Board of Directors felt the timing was right to eliminate 2 director seats and redraw the board districts that will take effect at the conclusion of this meeting. The revised board districts have been provided in the May 2021 issue of the Texas Co-op Power magazine and have been updated on our website as well. Later in the meeting, we will recognize Ron Smith and Bob Bonar for their service to the Victoria Electric Cooperative membership. Their service and experience will be greatly missed. In closing, I would like to once again thank you for your participation in today's annual meeting. While you will hear more about Winter Storm Uri from our General Manager shortly, I hope that you recognize the dedication your employees have while working to provide each of us with the best value in electric and internet service. Finally, it is important to have a board that is just as committed, and I am confident in saying that I feel we have that at Victoria Electric Cooperative. And while we are losing 2 valued board members, we will remain committed to the VEC membership.
Thank you, Mr. Rushop. Mr. Blaine Warzeka, General Manager, will now present the Manager's Report.
Good afternoon and welcome to our 2021 Victoria Electric Co-op Hybrid Annual Meeting. I would like to thank you all for participating today in the business of your cooperative, whether in person, remotely, or by drive-through. Unique times calls for unique solutions, and 2021 has proven to be a year about as unique as we have seen. I especially would like to thank the Victoria Electric Co-op Board of Directors for the bold decision to offer such a broad array of opportunities for our membership to participate at their pleasure. I think it demonstrates a true desire to ensure our membership has the ability to participate and engage. As Mr. Wiemeyer always said, it is your cooperative. Before I begin my comments, I would like to introduce our existing Board of Directors. Vice President Trey Rushop, Secretary Treasurer Tammy Boyd, Assistant Secretary Treasurer Dr. John Beck, Todd Adams, Bob Bonar, Raymond Brandel, Bodie Hoffman, Michael Maraji. Today my comments will focus on the challenges we have faced and continue to address in regards to COVID, Winter Storm Uri, safety, and provide you with an update on our Infinium Broadband division. However, before I begin my comments, I would like to also offer my condolences to Jean and the Wiemeyer family. I have been fortunate in my life and my career to have many great mentors, and Don Wiemeyer was one of them. Don was always working for the co-op. Whether on his tractor or simply driving down the road, the co-op was always on his mind, and he did not see it as work, rather a passion for serving. Don served God, his family, and our cooperative membership faithfully. He and I spent many hours together over the past 13 years, and I will sincerely miss him. If I had to choose one thing that he taught me that I will always cherish, it was this: no matter your intentions as a manager, father, or friend, you have to understand that people don't know what they have not been exposed to. And while he originally told me this early in my tenure as a general manager, he reminded me of this from time to time in my discussions with him regarding various situations, and his timing was always calculated and calming. I will miss these conversations with Don, who was a true servant leader before anyone knew what that actually meant. Now, as for the remainder of my comments today, as with all of you, I am tired of dealing with COVID, but I've come to a realization that it will remain with us moving forward in some form or fashion. However, throughout this pandemic, what has impressed me the most is the manner in which your VEC staff responded to this challenge. While we've had a pandemic response plan already developed as part of our emergency response plan, it was not tested to the extent that COVID forced us to not test, but rather implement the plan. Having such a plan definitely provided us with an advantage. As many businesses closed their doors during the height of the pandemic and prior to vaccines becoming available, VEC implemented our plan, and while we closed our doors for a short time, we adapted and operated with 40% of our staff working remotely from home. As Mr. Rushop pointed out, we never stopped. This was made due to the quick work of our IT staff, with IT specialist Ray Mazel playing a vital role. While staffing was returned to normal, we were and are continuing operations, allowing remote work to continue while quarantining to ensure we continue to serve our membership effectively. While we were all battling pandemic, Winter Storm Uri made its way across Texas. This was the coldest weather event in Texas since 1989, when Victoria experienced a low of only 9 degrees. During Winter Storm Uri, Victoria experienced a low of 13 degrees, and across the state, 4.5 million homes and businesses were without power with 2/3 reporting being without power for an average of 42 hours. Locally, as part of our emergency response plan, we had developed a list for our circuits to be rotated for load shedding events. However, during the first 25 minutes of ERCOT's call to shed load during the winter storm, these circuits were completely shed, and VEC was required to double the amount of load to be shed, something yet to be experienced or even contemplated. Of the 55 circuits across our distribution system, 45 circuits were actively in rotation. Those that remained outside of the rotation were ones that were either too large to be shed and would have resulted in extended outage durations requiring manual sectionalization and restoration of these circuits. The other circuits outside of the rotation were identified as emergency loads of last resort that are set aside to be shed collectively to save the grid from catastrophic loss. In fact, the state was only 4 minutes and 37 seconds away from such a loss in a statewide blackout. Our employees once again were tested. This time in a weather many had never experienced, working through long, cold nights, but we never stopped. As the wind and ice battered our distribution systems became more challenging as rotations made troubleshooting difficult, and with increased load shed requirements, equipment froze, extending rotation time. As we continued to work around the clock, we were able to initiate timely rotations and stabilize the distribution system. We never stopped. As with the conclusion of every event we identified, our greatest opportunity for improvement was in the level of communication we were able to provide. While several public service announcements were sent out and Facebook communication and monitoring occurred around the clock, we were not able to provide the amount of communication to our non-social media participating members. Following Hurricane Harvey, we doubled our phone line and included a feature that allowed a mass texting of messages and robocalls to provide updates. However, during the winter storm, due to the extreme number of incoming calls during each rotation, our phone lines were not available for those messages to go out. To further clarify the issue, during the 4-day event, personnel was staffed around the clock, and our employees answered 29,000 phone calls. In response to this event, we have contracted with a third party that will allow us to send text and robocall updates outside of our VEC phone line. This was put in action recently as we experienced Hurricane Nicholas on September 13th. As the storm approached, we experienced high winds, preventing our personnel from restoring power for the safety reasons. We notified members of the issue using text and robocalls and social media, which produced positive feedback from our membership and allowed employees to focus on restoring power as winds subsided. I think this serves as an example of our commitment to identify shortcomings and modify operations to provide service to each member. But the challenge remains to determine how extreme are the events we need to plan for, and the largest concern we have is where will the Public Utility Commission and ERCOT lead the Texas electric market. Since Winter Storm Uri, the Texas Legislature and Governor Abbott conducted hearings and investigations and made drastic changes in the Public Utility Commission and ERCOT Board of Directors. Currently, a timeline is in place to have the Texas electric market redesigned finalized by the end of this year. One thing is clear, Texans have saved money in the past on the energy market, but at the cost of reliability. Based upon the comments made during the investigations, we expect this will change. Comments from the new PUC Chairman, Peter Lake, indicate that the market redesign will prioritize reliability, accountability, and maintain affordability in that specific order. Based upon those comments, we can expect the cost of power to increase in the future. A perfect example of how reliability, accountability, and affordability can be realized is the manner in which South Texas Electric Co-op operated during the winter storm. The decision was made long ago by the STEC Board of Directors to own or contract enough resources to serve between 95 and 110% of STEC's power requirements, leaving potentially only a fraction at risk to the market. During the winter storm, STEC was actually long on power, meaning that it had enough power to serve every distribution co-op member on the STEC system, which included every VEC member. Yet because of the existing ERCOT market design, all STEC distribution co-ops still had to participate in reducing load. Whether right or wrong, fair or unfair, the STEC board decision on load resources served as an insurance policy the board made for all members, and it was time the insurance policy paid off. And in fact it has. STEC had a surplus of power during the storm, and as a result, ERCOT still owes STEC today. Due to the planning and policies, each of our members have not, nor will they see an increase in power costs as a result of Winter Storm Uri. This strategic planning and implementation of the plan ensured STEC had adequate capacity for emergency situations, insulating all of us from extreme market conditions. The same should hold true for the entire ERCOT market, as there should be some sort of capacity incentive to foster construction and maintenance of firm, dispatchable resources. Please do not misunderstand me, as I feel there is a place for renewables in the state's generation portfolio. There must be dispatchable generation available to back up renewables, as they have proven during the latest winter storm to not be a firm generation resource. One area that I would like to highlight is through all of these storms, outages, and not to mention the daily work that occurs, our safety record remains excellent. Our employees are doing an outstanding job of working safely, and I am proud to report that we have worked 6 years since our last lost time accident. In addition, your employees have worked and achieved the recertification from the National Rural Electric Safety Accreditation Program, which is an extensive inspection of all aspects of our operation. It is our expectation that every employee goes home safely every day to their family, and I am proud to say that our employees continue to grow to meet this expectation. We never stop. Finally, I would like to provide you with a brief update on Infinium, our broadband internet division. While the 2020 report indicates we have 928 active subscribers, as of today, our actual number of subscribers exceeds 1,400, and that is only Phase 1. From the beginning, our board authorized Phase 1 with the goal to assess the viability of the project and to proceed if we could determine by year 4 the ability to achieve a 10-year payback. It turns out that we are in year 3 and we are already seeing a 7.5-year payback, largely in part due to our ability to save money on construction costs by nearly $2 million. While we have not been successful in achieving any federal funds designated for broadband as of yet, we were successful in obtaining E-rate money to provide service to 3 school districts. We are currently working to obtain grant money and finalizing cost estimates for Phases 2 and 3 to be presented to our Board of Directors. The difference for Phases 2 and 3 is that our goal is solely to provide fiber to the home and no longer offer wireless. We have found that wireless is driving up our operating costs at over 95% of our service calls are a result of wireless issues. Nonetheless, we've recruited an excellent Infinium team to support our subscribers and are excited about the opportunity to expand in the near future to the remaining members. In closing, I would like once again to thank you all for participating in today's hybrid annual meeting. While we have faced many challenges that appear to be escalating in extreme, VEC continues to be reliable, affordable, and a member-owned organization, motivated by providing excellent service to each of you. We would not be where we are today without our members, employees, and the leadership of our board, especially the late Donald Weimar, whose service will not be forgotten. He will be greatly missed. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Warzeka, and once again, thank you to all our members for joining us today. Please remember, if you have participated in today's hybrid meeting by drive-through, you are eligible to win a door prize. Each drawing will be for a specific door prize item. If your name is drawn, then you will receive the prize selected for that drawing. Drive-through attendees that have their name drawn will be contacted and arranged pickup at a later date. And as always, anyone that is not selected for a door prize will receive a $10 credit towards their next electric bill. Thank you, and we appreciate your cooperation. This concludes the online recording of the Officer and General Manager comments.